Father Louis Scurti, once again here at St. Peter's University in Jersey City with Father Rocco Danzi. Father Rocco is the campus ministry director, and I've known Rocco before I realized I knew him. We knew each other years ago when you were interviewed at the university,
Yes.
at William Patterson,
Yes.
on our show.
Yes.
What role were you in then? I don't even remember.
It was interesting, Lou. I was actually transitioning, so the provincial had asked me after my years in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and doing tertianship, the last stage of Jesuit formation, to do vocation promotion work. So it was in that role that I was trying to travel, and this was a new position, so the provincial said, I don't have a job description, create it.
Good.
And one of my feelings was, having worked a lot with urban youth and inner city youth, we need to get the message of the Society of Jesus to all kinds of young people.
Yes.
And I also feel that as Jesuits, we can become a little snobby. Well, we have our universities and high schools, and out of these places will come our vocations. Well, in fact, since Vatican II, that has not been the case. So let's get that good news about the Jesuits and our charism and our spirituality into Newman Center circles, into Catholic young adult groups.
Yes.
And as we met that first time, I was getting my name out there for theology on taps.
Right.
But you know how God is so mysterious and wonderful. I also had to figure out, all right, I don't think I want to go back to parish work as a Jesuit, but I love the work in Crown Heights, the diversity, these great first-generation kids with these amazing dreams, and just the chance to accompany them and offer them that Ignatian spirituality as a real anchor for some of the rough roads and rocky waters. And so doing the vocation work, I discovered what I really desired and what God was calling me to, campus ministry. And then the fact that St. Peter's suddenly had an opening at the time that the provincial and the vocation team felt maybe it was time for Rocco to be planted somewhere.
Yes.
And to keep doing this good work of encouraging young adults, young women and men, to discern and discover and feel their call and their vocation, especially as lay ministers.
Excellent.
So I landed at St. Peter's. I'm delighted here. I love our diversity.
How many years ago?
I'm going into my 6th year.
Oh, you're brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah, and I feel that way, Lou. It's so exciting. Since I took over as director, so I started out as chaplain in campus ministry, and then 3 years ago became director, and under my watch as director to bring on our first African-American staff member, graduate of St. Peter's, went on to Yale Divinity, and now he's on our team, and in Nicaragua, he shepherds our global outreach, very passionate about the poor and connecting our great students who are very diverse and first generation, but not only to go to Nicaragua, Ecuador, Mexico, Dominican Republic.
These are the places you will go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
He's
fantastic.
grown our program since he's been here. He's going into his 3rd year, from one trip a year to Ecuador to these other experiences. And then because of his own amazing mind and formation here and at Yale, what he's very adamant on is when we come back to Jersey City, we're still going to meet and we're going to be planning service trips and immersions here where we can keep making a difference, getting into the community, to be those agents of change.
Here in the community, here in Jersey City.
Yes.
Excellent.
So he has that eye. It's great to go overseas and help the poor there, but how do we bring those experiences back here and help the needy and struggling here?
Right.
And to feel energized.
Yes. And you have students that work with him in the community.
Yes.
What kind of things do they do in the community?
Just this year, he built a wonderful partnership with World Church Organization, and what they're doing, they now have a Jersey City office, and they're helping folks that are coming here from Cuba or parts of Africa, and they've been able to come into the Hudson County area to find asylum and to make a home. So our students are partnered with this organization in helping them get settled and situated. It's a ministry of and it connects with our other new initiative, the Campus Kitchen, where sometimes we're providing food and clothing and necessary items as they build a life here.
Right.
But it's also that our students can build friendship.
Yes.
And that they feel this warm welcome by these amazing young adults.
That's great. Do the students, is it a work-study program as well? Do they get credit for their outreach?
We're working on that. This trip that Dwayne is currently on, there's a professor that shepherds the Latin American Studies program here,
Right.
Alex Trillo. So Alex and Dwayne are there, and students could have elected to receive credits.
Oh, okay.
And thanks to Alex being part of the team with his faculty academic connection.
Sure.
And then Dwayne is there with his linguistic abilities, also he's fluent in Spanish, but he's providing the reflective dimension. Alex is providing kind of some of the academic conversations around what they're seeing and statistics. Alex is a sociologist. So it's a wonderful marriage.
Oh, it's so holistic. It's wonderful. I love that word. But that's great to appeal to every area of the academic, the spiritual, the philosophical, the social.
Yes.
How many kids are there right now?
There are...
I shouldn't say kids. Young adults.
I believe we had hoped for 12, and there were 12, and then the story of our lives in campus ministry.
Of course.
Someone had to drop out. Someone's relative became very ill.
Oh, okay.
So I think there are 11 students, and then one professor and Dwayne. And yeah, it's very exciting.
That's a good core, and the familiarity they'll have with each other is great with a small group. It's too big, you can't do it. So they go every year?
Well, again, because a lot of this is just taking root in the relationships with Mexico and some of the, what he likes to connect with, Dwayne, are organizations on the ground in these countries that are really reaching folks at risk or struggling, because then it's a great connection for our students. You know?
And it so reflects Pope Francis's whole philosophy and theology about us waking up to our responsibility for the poor. I mean, really, I guess being a Jesuit going into that role as pontiff really bridged the world, the poverty of the world to the Vatican, and of course from the Vatican back to the entire world. And he's doing such a great job. So he's just but he's reflecting Jesuit spirituality a lot.
He really is. And, just to finish this earlier thought, under my watch, I really delight in imagining a staff that is very passionate around those Ignatian spiritual values, that notion of cor personalis, contemplatives in action. This is one of the Ignatian values as well. To be so prayerful and reflective and discerning, but we're getting into the world. Right. We're not just curling up in the corner or staying in the chapel. We've got to bring that good news and our gifts to the world and make a difference. Right. And so my other new two hires, Victoria, filling a gap on our staff where we didn't have a woman. So Victoria's been fabulous in our spirituality programming, growing our retreats. We now have a women's retreat. We have an Ignatian silent retreat, along with our showcase premier retreat that students love, Koinonia, which is a lot around building community and reflecting on a weekend. And then hiring Joseph Labaspi, Filipino young man, finished his doctorate in music at Indiana University.
Oh, God bless him.
And bringing him here, just his cultural background speaks to Jersey City and our Filipino population, but his talent speaks to all of our students. He invites them into the opportunity to develop their voices, sing God's praises, be part of a choir. And his vision this coming year, they're recording a CD right now.
Really?
And it was an original piece composed for St. Peter's called the St. Peter's Mass. And so that's being recorded by students, alumni, faculty, and staff. And again, in 2 years, what he's doing. But my role is to hire these inspired,
and
passionate young men and women, and then allow them to soar.
Good. Good, good.
And it gives me great joy as maybe more of my time. I can't travel like I used to. I have to be there for my mom and dad as they are in a very difficult chapter of their lives. But it's okay. These young ambassadors of ministry and of Christ and Ignatian spirituality are doing wonderful things, and now my role as director is to encourage them and to mentor them, but also to just tell them, keep going.
Yes, excellent, excellent. And I love campus ministry just for that, the diversity of it. I remember one time I was sitting with Bishop Rodimer, and he said, Lou, what do you enjoy best about campus ministry? And I said, it's changing all the time. I said, every 4 years, a completely different audience, and you're walking on campus, you're meeting people, you're meeting their parents, and that diversity and that expansive outreach is just so beautiful. And that's what I always love. And one other thing, dovetailing on your hires, you're doing the same thing. I always hired a staff member who was different from me. I would hire a jock, because I'm not a jock. I would hire a woman. Obviously I'm not a woman. Hire a nun. People who are different than I am, my personality and my interests, because that's, as you know, as you're doing, reach out. This has been Father Louis Scurti with Father Rocco Danzi here at St. Peter's University, talking about Jesuit campus ministry and so much more related to Christ. I'd like to hear from you. Contact me at fatherlouiscurti@hotmail.com. God bless you.